You know, I feel kind of sad. I really do. Not because of anything to do with the Montreal Canadiens and the Capitals game, which is going to begin in a few hours from now, but because of this article published by Ansar Khan on mlive.com. This was posted earlier this morning, and it talks about, of course, it's mlive.com, so it's a Detroit Red Wings story, but it very much seems like the Wings, or at least one of the guys on the Wings, is going to be leaving the team. He's ready to move on. And of course, you know from the title and from the thumbnail, today we are talking about Alex Lyon, as he cherishes his time with the Red Wings, but is still ready to move on. This article will be linked in the description if you want to dive into it yourself and read more of what Khan speaks about, but the reason I like this article is because it uses the quotes from Lyon himself, and you know, the writing's on the wall here, man. It does seem like Lyon is going to leave. Just from the way that he's talking about it, just from the way that the season went. The article starts out by talking about how Alex Lyon entered each of the past 2 seasons as the Red Wings number 3, unsure on where it would lead, but he ended up playing 74 games, nearly twice as many as he did before arriving in Detroit, and substantially more than any other Red Wings goaltender. At age 32, Lyon's career is far from finished, but it's not likely to continue with the Red Wings. Lyon realized that when GM Stevie Y acquired Peter Mrazek at the trade deadline. So, unfortunate RIP to Alex Lyon's Detroit Red Wings career, at least from the way it looks right now. Let's dive into some of these comments now, shall we? It was difficult for a minute, but part of being a successful professional, as well as a successful goalie, is being able to get through mentally. Things like that, Lyon said. I've been the 3rd goalie on the roster for my whole career. It's just something you've got to deal with. And that's so, I don't know, kind of sad. Like, looking at it, Alex Lyon is acknowledging in his career he has always been the number 3. He was the number 3 last year when the Wings had that weird cycle going on with Ville Husso and James Reimer. Alex Lyon was there, and he ended up winning the quote-unquote starter's job, and I would say he looked pretty darn good. This previous season, okay, no more Reimer, no more Husso, but you have Talbot, and then you have Mrazek in there too. You look at Lyon's previous few seasons in Florida and Carolina and Philadelphia, he's always rotating around with a whole bunch of other goalies. Lyon was in the mix with Spencer Knight and Sergei Bobrovsky before he got sent over to Detroit. In Carolina, Lyon was a very clear number 3, number 4 even, to Freddie Anderson, Antti Ranta, and Pyotr Kochetkov. In Philadelphia, Alex Lyon was the 3rd amongst Brian Elliott and another goalie who's actually on trial right now for some very heinous acts. Alex Lyon has been, as he said, the number 3 his entire career, or at least one of 3 in his entire career. This year, though, he ended up playing 2nd most compared to Cam Talbot. He did have more games than Reimer and Husso last season, so at least he can hang his hat on that. But to hear it from the guy himself that, yes, he has to deal with this, and there was a turning point in the Wings organization when Peter Mrazek was acquired, it kind of stings a little bit. I feel for the guy. The article talks about Cam Talbot and Mrazek. They both have contracts, and Kosa is also coming into his own too, and thus Alex Lyon is preparing to hit free agency on July 1st. Just going to have to see the way the winds blow, and there's a lot of things that are kind of out of my control, Lyon said, but it's a great place to play, and I loved playing at Little Caesars Arena. Khan writes here that Lyon will surely attract interest in the market after going 35, 27, and 6 with a .309 goals against and a .901 save percentage in 2 seasons with a non-playoff team. Yeah, those numbers aren't great, but it's not the worst in the world. Lyon says, I'm happy. I gotta be a full-time NHL player for 2 years, and I would like to continue to be in the NHL. The only thing I can do is try to keep getting better and find ways to be more consistent. I wish I could have played better here and helped us get into the playoffs this year. Just have to move forward and just keep grinding. That is true, because for the past 2 seasons in Detroit, Lyon, for the first time in his career, was not a primary AHL guy. He was an NHLer. And to hear him speak out about how, hey, it was nice to actually finally be a full-time guy in the National Hockey League, it's so sad, man. Like, this guy worked so hard, and there were stints throughout his Red Wings tenure where he was legitimately good. And I think now, thinking about just where he was, I mean, he was on a .914 save percentage with the Florida Panthers a few years ago. Maybe there is reason to believe that Alex Lyon's NHL starting capacity in his career is just opening up here at 32 years old. The article says here that Lyon says he doesn't feel satisfied at all. I feel still very hungry, and I feel like I'm 24 years old again. I still want to keep improving and accomplish more. That's a big motivation for me. I would like to accomplish more in this league and in hockey in general. I don't want to sit there and be like, oh, what a great 2 years, and I won, and I played a lot of NHL games. It just makes me hungrier, and it makes that fire bigger. I think now, more than ever, I feel like you just can't take for granted being in the NHL. It's difficult to get here, and it's more difficult to stay. So some wise words here from Alex Lyon. Of course, though, that's not going to change my personal sentiments towards it. It does sting a little bit to see a guy talk about his career in this way, and how he's been really working hard to get to this point, and now he's grateful. Like, yeah, I was an NHL starter. That's great. That's so sad to me, man. Like, this guy's got so much more to play for. And now he's going to be leaving Detroit in the offseason because Talbot, Mrazek, and Kosa are going to be the 1, 2, 3. Add in Trey Augustine inevitably when he comes over. And then even you've got Rudy Guimond in the QMJHL, who's still undefeated, I think. There's a lot of Red Wings goaltending support. But Alex Lyon, unfortunately, is a guy whose profile and his age doesn't really fit in that mold. Although, honestly, like, when I saw that Lyon was 32 years old, I was kind of taken aback. I was like, really? Huh. I guess he is 32 years old, because he was just in the AHL and bouncing up and down for so long, and he was with Florida, Carolina, Philadelphia, all the teams, that it feels like he's a lot younger. It feels like this is a guy who is just on the cusp of being an NHL starter for the first time, because really that's what he was. It's just he was 30 when that happened. So, Lyon, we wish you the best here. If he does re-sign in Detroit after saying all this to the media, then I'm going to be super confused. We're just going to assume that he leaves. But Lyon, have yourself a time elsewhere, buddy. If he goes to a good team with good defense in front of him, he could be really great. He had a .914 save percentage with Florida before stepping into the Red Wings locker room. Anything is possible if you've got a good team in front of you. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about Alex Lyon leaving the Detroit Red Wings organization, pretty much confirming it and talking about his next hockey opportunity in this way. What are your thoughts on the storyline and the way he performed with the Red Wings? Let me know in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.